Let me hit you with a hard truth, right out of the gate. Men don't choose the best women. They choose the women who know how to attract, keep, and challenge them. That's right. The most high-value men, the focused, grounded, confident types, aren't just falling into relationships with whoever is nice or pretty. They're drawn to women who live and think differently. So as men, if we want to understand who wins this game consistently and why, we need to stop judging attraction at face value and start studying behavior. There are habits certain women live by that magnetically pull in the best men and keep them. And once you understand these habits, you'll never fall for surface-level charm again. Let's break down the 6 most revealing truths behind the women who always attract high-caliber men. The women who consistently attract high-quality men don't chase them. They don't send a dozen texts hoping for attention. They don't rearrange their entire lives for someone they just met. And they certainly don't beg for love, validation, or commitment. Instead, they focus on becoming magnetic. These women understand that attraction isn't something you force. It's something you create by being someone of value. When a woman is in her purpose, emotionally balanced, and living a life she's proud of, she radiates confidence and self-worth. That kind of energy is incredibly attractive to men who are also grounded and purposeful. These women know they don't need to prove themselves to anyone. They don't compete for a man's attention because they understand that the right man will recognize their value without them needing to audition for it. They show up, they hold space, and they allow the man to pursue while staying open and receptive. This doesn't mean they sit back passively or play manipulative games. It means they don't invest deeply in someone who hasn't earned it. They let the connection build naturally, without pushing or forcing it. They know the difference between healthy interest and desperate chasing. And in doing so, they preserve their dignity, their power, and their emotional clarity. Men notice this, especially the men who have options. A high-value man can feel when a woman is coming from a place of wholeness rather than neediness. He senses when she's inviting rather than chasing. That difference is subtle, but it changes everything. Because the more a woman pours into her own life, the more a man wants to be a part of it. Not because she's begging, but because she doesn't need him to feel complete. And that's exactly why he'll chase her. Women who consistently attract the best men don't wait until they're disrespected to set boundaries. They do it early, clearly, and without apology. They understand that how a man treats them in the beginning is a preview of how he'll treat them long-term, so they don't let red flags slide just because there's chemistry or potential. Instead, they communicate what they expect and what they won't tolerate, and they stick to it. This kind of behavior instantly separates them from the majority. While many people fear setting boundaries out of concern they'll scare someone away, these women understand that if someone is scared off by healthy limits, they were never meant to stay. They don't make excuses for bad behavior, and they don't stay silent when something crosses a line. Instead of waiting for a man to figure it out, they calmly and confidently let him know what's acceptable and what's not. What makes this so powerful is that high-value men actually respect it. A grounded, secure man wants a woman who knows what she stands for. Boundaries create clarity, and clarity creates trust. These women don't need to raise their voice or issue ultimatums. They simply show that they're not afraid to walk away if their standards aren't met. And here's the truth. Boundaries aren't about controlling others. They're about controlling your own space, time, and emotional energy. When a woman sets boundaries, she shows that she values herself, and that signals to others how they should value her too. This quiet self-respect creates a natural filter. It repels the wrong men and attracts the right ones, especially those who recognize strength when they see it.
Because to a man who knows his own worth, a woman with strong boundaries isn't intimidating. She's captivating. Women who consistently attract high-quality men make self-respect a non-negotiable part of their lifestyle. They don't rely
on external validation to feel good about themselves. And they don't shape their identity around who's interested in them. Instead, they prioritize their health, their goals, their friendships, and their emotional well-being. That self-respect shows up in how they speak, how they carry themselves, and how they allow others to treat them. When a woman respects herself, it's obvious in her actions. She doesn't chase after someone who's inconsistent. She doesn't try to fix a man who's clearly not ready for something real. She doesn't tolerate being someone's backup plan, emotional crutch, or casual option when it's convenient. She chooses her own peace over temporary attention. That kind of energy is rare and it's powerful. It immediately catches the attention of men who are operating at a higher level, because they recognize the strength it takes to walk away from anything that doesn't align with your worth. This self-respect also creates space for genuine, healthy connection. When a woman isn't desperate to prove herself or earn a man's affection, she's able to show up as her full self. That authenticity builds deeper attraction. Men who are secure and emotionally mature aren't looking for someone to complete them. They're drawn to women who already feel whole. It's not about arrogance or superiority. It's about having standards and living by them consistently. The way a woman treats herself sets the tone for every relationship she enters. And when she puts her own well-being first, not in a selfish way, but in a grounded and intentional way, she naturally attracts men who respect her, value her, and want to rise to her level. Because high-value men are drawn to high-value behavior, every time. Women who always attract the best men understand the difference between adding value and adding weight to a man's life. They inspire, not drain. These women don't bring chaos, insecurity, or constant emotional neediness into a relationship. Instead, they show up with a positive mindset, emotional maturity, and the ability to support and challenge a man in a way that fuels his growth, not his stress. They are a source of calm and energy, not confusion and drama. This doesn't mean they never have bad days or need support. It means they don't make a man responsible for their emotional state. They've done the inner work to regulate their emotions, communicate clearly, and show appreciation. They know how to listen without trying to fix or control. They give space without guilt, and they speak encouragement into the relationship, even when things aren't perfect. That's the kind of woman who lights a man up instead of wearing him down. Men who are serious about life, purpose, and success are deeply aware of who drains them and who inspires them. They aren't looking for someone to carry. They're looking for someone who walks beside them. When a woman brings joy, creativity, and a sense of lightness to his world, she becomes someone he wants to invest in long term. It's not about perfection or pretending to be positive all the time. It's about emotional balance and being conscious of the energy you bring. What these women do differently is simple but rare. They take responsibility for their own inner state and show up with a presence that uplifts. That alone separates them from most. Because at the end of the day, the best men don't just want beauty or excitement, they want peace. And the woman who brings peace into a man's life becomes unforgettable. The women who consistently attract and keep high-value men possess a level of emotional intelligence that sets them apart. They don't just react impulsively to what's happening around them. They pause, observe, and respond with clarity. They understand their emotions without being ruled by them, and they can read a situation without jumping to conclusions. This ability to manage their own internal world is what allows them to create calm, respectful, and lasting connections. Emotional intelligence isn't about being overly logical or suppressing feelings. It's about awareness, knowing when you're triggered, when to speak, when to listen, and how to communicate in a way that doesn't create unnecessary tension. These women don't lash out, play passive-aggressive games, or expect a man to read their mind. They communicate directly and respectfully, even when they're upset. That makes it easy for a mature man to connect with them, because he doesn't have to guess what's going on or walk on eggshells. They also know how to read a man's energy and respond accordingly. If he's quiet or distant, they don't automatically assume the worst. They don't jump into panic mode or start blaming. Instead, they give space when needed, ask questions with curiosity, and avoid creating drama out of nothing. That emotional control is rare, and it earns deep respect. High-quality men aren't impressed by emotional outbursts or manipulation. They value stability, maturity, and self-awareness in a partner. When a woman shows that she can handle tough conversations with grace, manage conflict without turning it into war, and stay grounded even during emotional storms, she instantly stands out. Because emotional intelligence isn't just attractive, it's essential for real partnership. It's one of the quiet strengths that makes a woman not only desirable but deeply valued by the kind of man other women can't seem to keep. Women who consistently attract high-quality men know how to make a man feel like a man. That doesn't mean stroking his ego or being submissive. It means understanding and respecting masculine energy and allowing its space to thrive. These women don't try to dominate or control the relationship. They don't challenge everything just to prove a point. Instead, they embrace their feminine energy, which complements the masculine rather than competing with it. When a woman allows a man to lead in areas where he's strong, supports his ambitions, and believes in his direction, he feels trusted and respected. That respect brings out the best in him. He naturally wants to protect, provide, and show up as the strongest version of himself, not because she demands it, but because she creates space for it. That's not weakness on her part. It's emotional intelligence and relationship awareness. These women understand that a man doesn't want to feel like he's in a constant power struggle. He doesn't want to be nagged, micromanaged, or made to feel like he's always falling short. Instead, he wants to feel that his woman believes in him, trusts his judgment, and isn't trying to control every detail. That kind of trust creates freedom. And in that freedom, attraction grows. At the same time, they don't shrink themselves or hide their strength. They know when to assert themselves and when to step back. It's a dance, not a battle. When a man feels empowered by a woman's presence, when he feels more confident, more focused, more alive, he starts to crave her energy. Because in a world that constantly questions his value, she becomes a rare place of respect and inspiration. And once a man feels that, he's not going anywhere. Because he's not just attracted, he's deeply connected. If you're a man on your journey of self-improvement, you need to start recognizing what real value looks like in a woman. Not just beauty, not just charm, but habits. Because the women who consistently attract the best men don't rely on luck or looks. They live by standards. And once you spot those standards, you'll stop settling for anything less. Because you'll know the difference between a woman who wants a great man and one who actually deserves him.